Good evening, Tanisha.
Hey,
We'll be starting shortly. We're just waiting for like two more people.
no problem.
Okay, you guys, we are still waiting for Domingo to join, who's the current chair. However, we are implementing a rotational chair program in this specific committee where each member of the committee gets a chance to lead the actual committee. And this month, February, is my turn to lead the committee. So how's it going, everyone? My name is Hector Bonilla, and then we have some other committee members via Zoom and in person, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Hi, thank you for being here tonight. My name is Darlie Cornell and I'm a member of the committee.
And we also have some people remotely, Crystal and Tanisha. Not sure if they would like to introduce themselves very quickly.
Oh, I'm here. Hi, y'all. Tanisha Grant, on the community board. This is my second year. I'm second vice chair of the community board, and I'm vice chair of the education and youth and education committee. Hi, y'all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Crystal Woodley. I'm happy to be here. This is my first year on community board 12. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Crystal.
How's it going? That's so great. Okay, great. And close this. So do I have a motion to adopt today's agenda?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Crystal. And the agenda has been adopted at 6:56 PM. And today we have Senator Robert Jackson's office making a presentation. I'm not sure if they're here. I doubt you guys are from his office, correct? Okay, we could just skip that one for now, and then we don't have any elected officials here. I imagine you all are not elected officials, okay?
It's gonna
Uh,
be a quick meeting.
yes, and Domingo has just stepped in, who is the current chair of our committee. Today, we originally had comptrollers plan to come in virtually, that is, to speak on the state level and the city level on certain things impacting the Board of Education, how they go about contracting, oversight, performance evaluation, and just the overall budget. However, due to scheduling conflicts, they were unable to be here today. However, 2 years ago, they did release a report from Brad Landerd's office of the current state of education, and they did note that there is a massive shortage in the special education space within the schools. And despite the budget going up significantly over the 10-year period, so we just wanted to have some additional commentary on that and some color. And I also wanted to note that this meeting has been moved to the second Thursday opposed to the second Monday of the month. And then I'll let the actual chair introduce himself.
Well, you're the chair today.
Yes.
Yeah, so Domingo Estevez, pardon the lateness, but I got caught up in a little bit of a jam. So I'm like, damn, I thought congestion pricing was gonna clean up the streets and it looks the same. Welcome to our second Thursday meeting, right?
Correct.
Anything else? What are we hitting in the agenda?
So we don't have anybody from the Robert Jackson's office, and we don't have any elected officials now, so I just briefly went over what we intended to.
Tanisha's there?
Yes, she is.
Because we had a good back and forth. They said they'd be sending somebody.
Tanisha's here. I'm not sure if she could.
She's on her way to Albany, so I don't know if
She just arrived to Albany.
Okay.
She made that announcement earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. What happened?
The presenter from Robert Jackson's office is not here yet, and they said there would be somebody here.
They said that they're not here, and they said they would be there. They would be here.
Check attendees. Let's see. No,
Are they Are they on Zoom?
oh. Jessica. No, that's not them. It's Edgar. They said the person's name is Edgar. Let me check the email right now. They said the person's name is Edgar Tavares. Edgar, if you're here, let us know so we could bring you up to panelists. Kimberly Fernandez sent me that email. No, they're not here. How you want to go about this, Tanisha?
Let's just move on. And if they come, they come, but I'll hit them up in the background.
All right, so, opening remarks, I'll take that on. So as you can see, what we're trying to do now is just make sure everybody gets the opportunity to present, what they're, like, everybody in the committee be able to bring in, something that, not that they're only passionate about, but seek information on. So Hector took the lead this month on the comptrollers, but as we could see, it's very difficult sometimes, being able to schedule, specifically when there's so much things happening, so many moving pieces. But I think, in essence, what, as a committee, we're trying to educate ourselves on is on the processes, right? You follow the money, you see how the money's approved, where the money's allocated, and I think it gives us a clear perspective on like what approaches to take to be more effective advocating, right? It's either the mentality when you work for the city is either you spend it or you lose it. So we wanted to make sure we know where the money's being spent. So I commend Hector in trying to work on bringing in the comptroller's office, both the city and the state. But again, right, the most difficult things is initiating these processes. But once we've established a good relationship and a good rapport with these individuals, I'll make sure, I'll be in caucus this weekend. I'll make sure to look them out and see how we could strengthen any relationship with state elected officials. And I know Tanisha's gonna hound them down with me as well. So we're gonna be up there just to basically strengthen these relationships as well. But besides that, I think there's somebody raising their hand over here. Might it be them? Let Jessica speak. Hey, Jessica, you can speak now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to interrupt right here at the beginning. I did want to, this is the first time I've ever been on this meeting, and I did want to have the opportunity to find out how I could request getting on the agenda to make a presentation for the next meeting. That was all.
Okay, on what subject?
I'm the executive director of an organization called NYC Kids Fest, and we actually have 3 festivals that are going on in Washington Heights area this coming spring and summer. One is on Audubon Plaza, Jackie Robinson, and actually 2 are probably in Audubon Plaza. And I want, and yeah, I don't want to take up the time I know right now, but basically it's really about letting.
Jessica,
know
we'll
who we
send
are.
you, we're gonna message you my email right now.
Okay.
Just so you have it, and you can reach out to me via email.
I don't think I have access to the chat. The chat is turned off.
He's gonna promote you as a panelist, just to be able to get it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
So again, like, we're just trying to get this up and running, and I feel like Hector's big initiative was just making sure we followed the money. So now we're just gonna follow up and build those relationships to make sure we have representation from the city and the state comptroller's office, who basically have oversight over contracts, et cetera. So for my opening remarks, my apologies for being late. I actually thought this meeting was at 7, you know, because my last meeting today was at 6 p.m. And I'm coming up the highway, and Tanisha's like, Domingo, where you at? Why hasn't the meeting started? I'm like, Tanisha's at 7. She's like, nah, Domingo's at 6:30. I'm like, oh. So my apologies for that. But besides that, I feel like we started off the year strong. We have a great presentation from Senator Robert Jackson's office on legislation that he's had for several years now, and I believe he's pushing it now, which is a bill to replace punitive school suspension policies with evidence-based alternatives. It works, you know. As time changes, so does pedagogy, so does practices. Society's constantly evolving. So we also have to look for ways to evolve with it. Because the science of evolution is simple: either you evolve or you die. So we just want to make sure that schools are up to date. That's why we actually we're going to prepare a resolution once we got more details about this bill. in agreement with it, seeing how we could, from our board, give it some support. But besides that, they're currently not here. So, we might have to table this to next month and see how it goes. And Tanisha and myself and whoever is up in Albany, tomorrow, this upcoming weekend, which is, Black and Puerto Rican and Asian caucus. I think it is. Yeah. So, we're gonna, be going up there strategically, one, to support, a board member, Tanisha, which is having some panels up there,
Nice.
but two, to be able to surface some relationships up there as well, to make sure that we get more representation from our electeds when it comes to
Right.
education. But besides that,
I think another thing too is, with all the federal funding changes, I think that's another reason why they may not have been inclined to show up
Yeah.
today and like make any statements.
yeah, now, the city's in a very interesting place at this particular moment.
Right,
You have,
everything going on in the mayor's office.
yeah, you have federal charges being dropped.
Right,
You have the federal government being provide more access to institutions that they didn't have access to no longer. So we're in a very interesting place. But the work don't stop, So for now, I would say let's table the conversation. Tanisha, do you feel comfortable well, we don't have a choice. We would have to table it for next month.
What is aligned with education?
Yeah. Community Connections, is she still there?
Jessica's still here.
During Community Connections, Jessica is a space
Yeah.
that we created to be able to hear local nonprofits, speak on programming and areas we could collaborate more efficiently with the community board. So this is a time right now where you could give your presentation on, or have a conversation on what you're doing this spring, and
Sure.
ways to collaborate with the board.
Right now, can you hear me or?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes,
Oh, okay, great. I was not expecting to go up right now. I was just trying to get on the agenda, but sure, I can shoot off the cuff.
So this is just a conversation, right? Because the problem is that we had Senator Jackson's office had a presentation on a bill. They're not on, so we're just gonna move the agenda forward and table this for next month.
Okay, so like, are you giving me like 3 or 5 minutes, something like that, short or even shorter?
It's up to you. Our agenda's pretty open tonight. So under Community Connections, which is in our agenda, we
Okay.
open up the space for local nonprofits to be able to speak on
Great.
what they're doing and ways that the community board could collaborate with their efforts.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So yeah, my name's Jessica Chernesky and I'm the director of NYC Kids Fest, which is, we're not-for-profit organization that was founded in 2006. And we started in Morningside Park back then, but in recent years, it's a community festival. But in recent years, we've expanded to Marcus Garvey Park and Jackie Robinson Park. And last year, we started working with the Department of Transportation and had the opportunity to produce Car-Free Earth Day in Audubon Plaza. And we did that. That was like a big deal of like kind of opening up that as the open streets. And then we also produced the Trick or Streets Halloween event on Audubon Plaza as well in 2024. And we're planning to do both of those events this year, as well as produce NYC Kids Fest in the regular, those are more like pop-up events, and then the regular festival again in Audubon Plaza. And the reason why, I wish I had reached out to the community board years ago, actually, but better late than never. We started a program about 3 or 4 years ago where we send a teaching artist into, different elementary and middle schools. And we haven't yet done that with community board, but now that we haven't yet had the opportunity to do that with the Inwood Washington Heights community, but we're really excited about the prospect of doing that this spring so that those kids, like we'll send a hip hop teacher or a theater teacher. You know, we worked a lot with Classical Theater of Harlem, and we also last year we worked a lot with People's Theater Project. And just actually, we're looking to expand all of our relationships with the other not-for-profits that are in the Washington Heights area. Like we already have partnered with the Dominican Cultural Center, with Word Up Books, with People's Theater Project, and we're really looking to expand those relationships. But in terms of with the school, a really big initiative that we have is really to send teaching artists into the schools and then give the kids the opportunity to perform at the festival itself, which will be in Washington Heights. So I wanted to, just start the conversation and see what, see who's involved in all of this and who I might reach out to send materials to and see who I can connect with regarding this. What else should I tell you about NYC Kids Fest? So yeah, I just wasn't expecting to present.
Don't worry. This is more like a conversation.
So
If
just
you
like
wanna,
for example, and this is an important thing to let you guys know, like the culture of the festival itself is really about, well, it's local, but it's also it's like, for example, one of our performers just won the Grammy for Best Latin Jazz Artist. He was the percussionist. He on the album that just won the Best Latin Jazz of the Year award. And this year we're having an artist, Divi Rocks, who was like Beyonce's former bass player and music director. So it is obviously it's a free festival for the community, but we really what sets us apart is we really want to give involve like kids, just students, young students, the opportunity to perform alongside those professional performers. So it's really a mashup of like very high level performing artists alongside, the kids. And then there's also a component of, visual arts and, and then just fun and more fun stuff like, free face painting, balloon guy, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what we're about.
okay,
Is
cool.
yeah.
And something to note is the United at the Palace is a district-wide showcase. I know Renzo Martinez, the superintendent, is specifically focusing on a multicultural event this year, which will take place May 30th in the United Palace.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's for your teaching artists to also look out for any schools you work with within District 6. I know they're looking for people to prepare their kids, teaching artists able to prepare the kids for a presentation on this district-wide showcase May 30th. So that's just something to look out for as well as you are looking to partner up within the district. I know that it's a need at the moment. So I'd be, when you email me what type of teaching artists you have, and I'd be able to connect you with some schools that are looking to perform.
Fantastic.
United at the Palace.
Oh, that's great. That's really great because really, the purpose here is about finding the schools to connect with. So fantastic. So are you Hector or are you two people chatted with me?
Hector.
Hector, okay.
Yeah, Hector's there.
Okay, gotcha. And wait, you're JR.
JR.
You're JR. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, so I'll follow up and send you all that stuff to just begin the conversation.
Yeah, and thank you so much for stepping up to the mic and being able to, at the end of the day, this is what we want to create for this item of the agenda. It doesn't have to be something that's constantly organized. It's just a space where organizations could come and just chop it up like that. And resources could be shared and effective strategies to be able to collaborate could also be shared.
Yeah, perfect. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Besides that, we got committee business. You could table that for next month. This could be a brief meeting today. So Tanisha, are you there?
Yes.
Do we feel comfortable tabling the the presentation for next month, or do you want to talk about it to give people a brief understanding because the presenter's not here?
Okay, yeah, I can talk about it. Mention bill, that is sponsored by our Senator Robert Jackson, which we have supported for the last 7-8 years, that would curb the suspending of Black and brown students. As you know, Black and brown students get suspended at a exceptionally higher rate than their white counterparts. And we don't believe that, our children should really be suspended for, things that children do. Now you can suspend a child for up to the whole school year, Chair. So this bill would put an end to all of that. So I'll just leave it there, and then we'll get with them. It's caucus weekend. A lot of things are happening, and we can just table it until next month. But it is a bill that we really do want to look into to help our children, not lead to the school to prison pipeline, which suspensions often do.
Yeah, and Tanisha, by the way, Hector gave us some homework. He said that we gotta talk to the state comptroller's office because they need to present to our committee about some of the questions that Hector spoke about: contracting, education contracts, like where's the money going and what are the needs?
Right, and just an update
Absolutely.
that they created 2 years ago. They
Yeah.
haven't created anything following that, so I think it would be good to have some insight.
Yeah, just, with the current climate, the impact that a limited federal funding would have on education in the
Right.
state. So that's gonna be our homework this weekend, Tanisha, to find those people. All right. Besides that, we're gonna move on now to if there's any announcements, old business.
Yes, I just, I have a hold to tapes. I'm representing tonight, a collective called the Uptown Youth Collective.
Okay.
Which is, an organization that pulls together funded DYCD programs, but also smaller independent youth agencies.
Mhm.
To share resources, programming that serves the collective interests of the agencies, but also young people in the community.
Mhm.
So the whole debate is for May 17th.
Mhm.
We're going to be joining a community conference being sponsored by ACDP,
Okay.
and they're going to have panel discussions and workshops and a host of community related issues. And they've invited the Youth Advisory Board, our collective, to join the panel, and also to run workshops on an issue of critical importance to young people in the community. So the advisory board, they just had 2 meetings, and are in the process of analyzing different issues and picking a priority in one issue. At this point, it looks like it'll probably be public safety. Most of what came up is the concern with the proliferation of establishments that are being allowed to sell cannabis.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them in almost direct proximity to schools. And they're starting to bubble up in a street culture, where cannabis is getting more and more available, to young people. So that's a big concern.
That's something we could also do, invite OCM to see what are some of what is it that they're doing in regards to like that proliferation and how they looking to tackle the abundance of because I'm assuming at this point marijuana is legal.
It
So
has been legal for a
yeah.
while.
So what does that mean? And
Like, how are we educating? I know that's
Yeah.
something that we spoke about.
yeah, because I know we have a mental health conference coming up soon. What was it? I think it was like May or June. So I know Noemi's working on that already. I think we got a permit for George Washington High School in June. So we'll see how that goes. I think we got the field. So we'll be doing a mental health fair / resource fair / community fair. So we got, I believe, the football field and the school.
Okay.
So now we'll see how we could get it.
Yeah, the second part I wanted to report is, as part of our training for the young people, we want them to learn the valuable resource the Youth and Education Committee is at Community Board 12, or anything that they want to pursue, moving forward. It's very important to have credible allies who are educated, know about the things in the community and the city at large, and for our youth leadership group, to engage with this committee and launch a bill.
Yeah.
So we're probably shooting for asking for a meet and greet at a youth committee meeting. I would say probably at the April meeting.
Okay, so we're
I'll send it to you in writing.
yeah, we're all for it. Support however we can. Yeah, so that's our agenda for this month. So
Okay.
next month we'll see, because I know next month we got March, in the March meeting, we have to see who's leading that and see how, what are modifications, because it'll probably be, yeah, and you're doing something around employment.
For development for youth.
Okay, so we'll see how we could,
Well, it seems, this fall very much into it. The Robert Jackson piece, obviously, it's not employment, but when you are suspended, especially as a high schooler, your chances to do more in terms of employment immediately disappear. So there are ways to connect that. And we can talk of the meeting, what my plan was, and then I can just read what it is then.
because my biggest thing is this, like I work in multiple schools in the district, about 12 of them, right? Or between 8 to 12, I would say, right?
Right.
And what I always say is, youth look for consistency. And sometimes these schools are very inconsistent. And we got to make sure that we keep pushing them to be as consistent as possible,
Right.
because we cannot expect doctors and scientists when the way we're operating is not prepared for them.
That's
So I think and I think as we move towards being able to have a stronger committee, part of it is also being able to see what's happening out there, see how we could support, not just dwell on, oh, this is not happening, but see how we can support on, hey, look, these are good practices, something to look forward to. And I think that'll be great. But there's a lot of great work happening in this district as well. From United at the Palace, the STEM fair that's happening, that's district wide. These are first of its kind, you know what I'm saying? And all the schools working with STEM projects. But now as pedagogy evolves, we also have to be aware of what's out there to keep evolving with it, to be able to support these schools beyond just how things are done at this particular moment. And I think that's something that we could talk on. But I think I'm a seek to facilitate the September meeting to be a little bit more controversial on like what pedagogical approaches or techniques are out there available for the communities that aren't at this particular moment so mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And see how, because restorative justice wasn't mainstream, right? Now it is. Restorative justice right now, you talk about it, you're on a wait list for 2 years to be able to get somebody to come to your school to be able to do these type of workshops and stuff like that. So we got to make sure that, we find out what the next big thing is to be able to introduce it to these schools and be able to create more equitable and great human beings. But besides that, that's the agenda for today. Crystal, I don't know if you want to add anything, but if I would say they should, next meeting, don't get used to this. Next meeting is going to be long. So today we're going to cut it a bit short, but next meeting is going to be longer.
Right.
Because unfortunately we had some scheduling conflicts and one of our presenters is not currently here. So besides that,
Pretty much the same for the Eventbrite,
Chair, do we have anybody in the audience that wanted to come speak about issues?
Okay, does anybody in the audience, before we adjourn, have any issues or any recommendations they would like to speak to the committee on?
I just want to make a recommendation or a suggestion. I think what your project of addressing the pedagogy of the schools is very, very, very important. And one of the glaring deficiencies in public school education is lack of civic education,
Mhm.
and specifically civics that interrogate youth involved at a local
There's
level.
actually a bill right now
Robert Jackson.
requiring civic, at least 1 year of civics for every high school student.
Talking about Robert Jackson's bill?
Yeah, I believe that's
It's
the,
for every grade, 5 through 12.
okay,
And the bill specifically says the classes should not be run where there's a teacher standing in front of the room lecturing students about the three parts of government, but it has to be interactive. Students themselves get engaged in civic projects, and through their engagement with the project, and learn about city government.
sounds like, we have a person who raised their hand, Suhey Laura. You could speak.
Hi, yes, it's Suhey Laura. This is my first time participating in this, and it's just quickly, it's like part of my scope, but I was very interested in the topic today because I myself have a 6-year-old autistic child, and like it mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that we are aware of how short-staffed and how there's not a lot of schools for children who have special disabilities. And one of my biggest concerns is that when I was trying to enroll my son in pre-K and kindergarten, I received a lot of pushback from the schools. Like they didn't want to like assist me because of his diagnosis. The district was incorrect for them. Long story short, my son is currently in District 9 for school, and I am currently from Inwood, Manhattan. So
Yeah.
what I wanted to say is that my biggest concern is that I wish that in Inwood there was more schools for children with autism. For example, more Horizon programs, more Nest programs. I don't think that it's fair that I have to like put my son on a bus to go all the way to the Bronx to receive the education. I just wish that I saw more of these programs within my own neighborhood. That's just my concern.
Right, and just to be, Tanisha, when we speak about Horizon and Nest, that's the DOE, right?
Yes,
City DOE,
it
not
is
state.
it is the DOE. And I totally agree with you, Miss Laura. I myself have an autistic nonverbal grandson who is 8 years old, and he is in the D75 school. And I am also advocating for that as well, for there to be more programs that are just for autism. A lot of these programs for autism, Chair, they only take high functioning children that have autism. It's only one program, I believe, Nest, that is for all children that have autism on the spectrum, and it's not. She's absolutely right. We need to advocate more for those programs in our community in Washington Heights. I'm trying to find something in Harlem for him, but we should have access to those programs for our children. Absolutely. And that's something maybe we should write a resolution on.
Yeah. For sure. Thank you so much, Ms. Laura.
You're
Anybody
welcome.
else in the audience who would like to add anything else before we close our meeting? As far as like what we should be reaching out to, what would y'all like to see more of? What should we be advocating for? So one thing I will tell you, Suhedi, is we will be working on seeing if within the next, before our summer break, we get somebody from the DOE to educate us a little bit more on these programs and why do we have a lack of them in our community? Because I keep seeing stuff on social media. It might not necessarily be true, but from my understanding now, autism has gone from 1 in every 10,000 to 1 in every 36. I saw that during the Senate interview of what's his name, RFK Jr.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
the senator who grilled
Yeah,
him and she
yeah.
almost, she cried when the, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, it has gone from 1 to 10,000 to 1 in 36.
36,000?
No, 1 in 10,000 was the data previously for
Yes.
autism, and now it's 1 in every 36 people.
Oh, and every 36.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
I would be
that's
careful
too
with that
high.
statistic.
Huh?
I would be very careful with that statistic and really research it.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that that's the number. I'm just saying that during that hearing, that's what was shared, and I was like, oh my God.
Right.
You know, with the way things are now, you gotta cross-reference everything, but
Right.
we hope to have Congress giving us information
Accurate
that
data.
is somewhat factual, right?
Right.
But besides that, we're gonna add that to our agenda. So stay tuned, Miss Laura. Give us at least a month or two to see
Yes,
if we could get
36.
the DOE, if we could get the DOE to send us somebody to speak on these programs and how we could advocate for them.
Wow.
Besides that, anything else?
No. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So.
Second?
I cannot say, no, it's a motion. Oh, you motion, I second. Oh, yeah, you can second.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions? Thank y'all so much for joining us. We had a brief meeting because of some scheduling conflicts, but we look forward to seeing everybody next month, the second Thursday of every month at 6:30 p.m. Next month, we're gonna have a stacked agenda, so the meeting is gonna be much longer, so I look forward to seeing everybody there. Have a wonderful night.
Wow, it is 136.
I
Thank
told you it's 36.